Welcome to Rich Mind Narrations. Today, we speak about a truth that very few people are strong enough to accept, and even fewer are disciplined enough to live by. A truth that can rewrite your future, reshape your identity, and rebuild the version of you that the world has tried to break. This truth is called the millionaire law of isolation. Disappear to build yourself. And once you understand it, your life will never look the same again. There comes a moment in every person's life when noise becomes the enemy, when the voices, the opinions, the distractions, and the expectations of others start pulling you away from who you were meant to become. You cannot grow while you are surrounded by people who stay the same. You cannot evolve while you are constantly pulled into conversations, gossip, drama, and noise that has nothing to do with your future. Here is the truth. Every transformation begins with distance. Distance from old habits. Distance from old environments. Distance from people who keep you small. Isolation is not loneliness. Isolation is alignment. Isolation is the space where you meet the strongest version of yourself. When you disappear, you don't disappear from life. You disappear from the level of life that is killing your potential. You step back into your mind. You step forward into your purpose. You step away from distractions. You step toward discipline, and slowly, quietly, you begin to rebuild. You rebuild your mindset. You rebuild your habits. You rebuild your confidence. You rebuild your strength. You rebuild your self-worth. Because isolation is not about losing people. It is about finding yourself. Let me tell you something the rich already know. Every season of massive success is preceded by a season of quiet preparation. People see the results. They never see the isolation behind it. You think millionaires are always social? No. They isolate to grow. They isolate to study. They isolate to think. They isolate to build discipline. They isolate to protect their energy. They isolate so they can come back stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. Isolation is where the vision becomes clear. Isolation is where the mind becomes focused. Isolation is where the heart becomes disciplined. And when you return, the world won't recognize you anymore. But here's what people don't tell you. When you start isolating yourself, you will be misunderstood. You will be judged. They will say, you changed. They will say, you've become distant. They will say you're ignoring them. But remember this, you are not distancing yourself from people. You are distancing yourself from the limits they placed on you. Most people fear silence because silence exposes their truth. But silence strengthens you. Silence sharpens you. Silence cleans your mind. Silence reminds you who you really are. And success needs silence. Growth needs silence. Healing needs silence. Mastery needs silence. When you disappear to work on yourself, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in a harmful way, but dangerous because you become disciplined, focused, and unshakable. You become the kind of person who moves with purpose, the kind of person who doesn't need validation, the kind of person who doesn't need attention to feel valuable, the kind of person who doesn't break under pressure, the kind of person who walks alone but walks with confidence. Isolation teaches you how to rely on yourself. It teaches you how to trust your own voice. It teaches you how to build internal stability instead of external. approval. And that is what makes you powerful. Here's the beautiful part. When you isolate to build, you don't come back the same. You come back wiser. You come back calmer. You come back stronger. You come back more focused. You come back with boundaries. You come back with clarity. You come back with a plan. While everyone else was distracted, you were upgrading. While everyone else was complaining, you were improving. While everyone else stayed the same, you were transforming. You didn't disappear to hide. You disappeared to build. You disappeared to evolve. You disappeared to protect the version of you that the world was trying to destroy. So, let me ask you, are you brave enough to isolate? Are you strong enough to remove yourself from distractions? Are you disciplined enough to walk alone so you can walk into a better future? Because the path to success is not crowded. It is quiet. It is disciplined. It is intentional. And most people will never walk it because it requires temporary separation for permanent elevation. Hear this deeply. Your isolation is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your new chapter. Disappear now so you can reappear later as someone unstoppable. This is Rich Mind Narrations. Control your mind. Protect your energy. And remember, sometimes the best thing you can do for your future is to walk away from everything that distracts you. Disappear to build yourself and return with the power the old you could only dream of.